And now, Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Andrew's Doors, I hope you enjoyed it. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had four ugly, mean stepsisters: Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. One day, the king of Fivingham's messenger said, Hear ye, the king of Fivingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quintuple. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Fiona said, He's going to marry me. Isabella said, No way, Fiona. He's going to marry me. Verona said, Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Ella said, All three of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Quintuple. Suddenly, her fairy godmother asks, Why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, I got a lot of chores to be done. I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Quintuple. The fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic. Quantity, woo! The fairy godmother's magic did all the chores and then turned Cinderella's do-rag and ribbed dress into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a fantastic dress, and get a load of my glass slippers. But she's not done yet. The fairy godmother said, Fetch me. Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has 5 pumpkins, and the fairy godmother turned the 5 pumpkins into a handsome coach. It's drawn by 10 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Quintuple said, Who should I marry? Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella said all together, He's walking towards me. Well, he's not walking towards any of them, but Prince Quintuple is walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Quintuple danced happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And when she was running so fast, she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Quintuple was so worried that she might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Fivingham to find her, bringing the tiny glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door where Cinderella and her 4 ugly mean stepsisters live. Prince Quintuple said to her stepsisters, Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Fiona is first. but her foot is too small. Isabella is next, but her foot is too big. Verona and Ella are last, but neither of the feet match. Suddenly, Prince Quintuple noticed Prince Fiverella's sweet singing. Prince Quintuple, is that really you? Of course it's me, Fiverella. Prince Fiverella is so excited because she's happy to have her Prince Quintuple back. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. And take care, Andrew's Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye. And now, Andrew's Doers, Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents for the 3,000th episode of Andrew Knows Everything special, 3,000 Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named 3,000 Cinderella. 3,000 Cinderella had 13 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, Emmy, Tilly, Hannah, Ophelia, Uniqua, Sasha, Alana, Natalia, and Dahlia. All 13 of them made 3,000 Cinderella do all the chores. 3,000 a wench. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, Emmy, Tilly, Hannah, Ophelia, Uniqua, Sasha, Alana, Natalia, and Dahlia all together. And then one day, the king of Tri-Millethingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Tri-Millethingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Tri-Millething. But 3,000 Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Tasha, the oldest stepsister. Hannah said, No way, Tasha, you're wrong. He's going to marry me. Rena said, Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. The rest said, All three of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, 3,000 Cinderella is so sad about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Tri-Millething while doing chores. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and Anne asks 3,000 Cinderella what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, 3,000 Cinderella? In which 3,000 Cinderella responds, I have lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Tri-Millething. 3,000 Cinderella's fairy godmother says, I can help with a bit of magic, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, 3,000 Cinderella's chores are all done, but her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 3,000 Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 3,000 Cinderella has 3,000 pumpkins and 6,000 mice. 3,000 Cinderella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 3,000 pumpkins into a handsome coach, and the 6,000 mice into horses, and 3,000 Cinderella's red clothes into a gown and crown. 3,000 Cinderella says, I've never seen such a Tri-Millething-tastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the coach. 3,000 Cinderella's fairy godmother said, Well, you can't. But have fun, 3,000 Cinderella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. and gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Trimilluplingham said, "Good evening, everyone. My son, Prince Trimillupling, was wondering who will marry. Isn't that right, son?" Prince Trimillupling responds, "Yes, father." Suddenly, Cinderella arrived at the ball just in time. Tasha, Hannah, Arena, Ellie, Emmy, Tilly, Hannah, Ophelia, Uniqua, Sasha, Alana, Natalia, and Dahlia say, "He's walking towards me!" all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Prince Trimillupling then asks, "May I have this dance?" And Cinderella responds, "I would be delighted." And Prince Trimillupling and Cinderella danced happily together. But later, Cinderella checks her clock. It's almost midnight! So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both of her glass slippers. Prince Trimillupling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. The king of Trimilluplingham comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find Cinderella." And so, Prince Trimillupling and his father began their journey all around Trimilluplingham to find Cinderella and brought the 2 glass slippers with them. By the time they arrived, Prince Trimillupling knocked on the door of the house where Cinderella and her 13 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters there lived. But instead of Cinderella, they find Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, Emmy, Tilda, Hannah, Ophelia, Uniqua, Sasha, Alana, Natalie, and Dahlia. Prince Trimillupling and the king of Trimilluplingham then say, "Ladies, we have a favor to ask. Can you try on these glass slippers?" Tasha is first, but her feet are too big. Hannah is next, but her feet are too small. "Nonsense! It fits!" she said. The rest did the same, but none of the feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Trimillupling and the king of Trimilluplingham noticed Cinderella singing. The glass slippers fit! And so, Cinderella, Prince Trimillupling, and the king of Trimilluplingham lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doers, I hope this was a fun story for the 3000th episode of our show, of our channel special. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. And then I have one more thing to say. Take care, Andrew's Doers. Bye.